Have you ever wondered how messed up Nigeria is? Now, if you don't understand it, let me try to project what 2027 looks like. Then if you understand it, then you will know how messed up Nigeria really is. First and foremost, we have two groups of people who believe that Nigeria must be one, but we must continue to hate ourselves. Now, I'm talking about the core Muslim North, who believe that if power does not reside with them, then governance must be distorted. Governance must be made impossible. We saw that in the Buhari administration, right? Now, we have another group who believe that if it's not their tribe, anything that bears the coloration of the Yorubas in power, then it's good. No matter how bad it is, it's good so long as it's Yoruba that's on seat. Now we have them. A good example of them is the Tinubu supporters. Now, when you look at 2027, when you look at the coalition, when you look at the Tinubu administration, when you look at the whole players in the game, you realize that Nigeria is really messed up. Now, you have a Tinubu who heads Nigeria and has the stupid support of certain people who believe he's performing, and the only reason why they see him is because he has wore the perfume of Yoruba. So anytime he does anything, he's good. Jagaban, you're trying. Then we have another group of people who believe that power must return back to the north. I'm talking about Atiku and El-Rufai and the other man, what's his name? They believe that power must return back to the north. Why? I don't know. Then we have another man that's called Peter Obi, who I believe, the Tinubu, Atiku, El-Rufai, everybody knows that if Nigeria is handed to him, Nigeria will definitely change. Nigeria may not be better off, but it will definitely toe the path of betterment, where Nigerians begin to see that, yes, leadership can actually transform Nigeria. And if they give him that power, they believe that even if Peter Obi enters into a 4-year agreement, they believe that after the 4 years, with visible changes, Nigeria may clamor for his continuation, and that will bring another chaos. Now, but the most disturbing aspect of this whole scenario in 2027 is the fact that no one except Peter Obi is talking about changing Nigeria for the better. No one. Now, you may not have seen my video the recorded video for some time now. But then this morning, somebody called me and was like, there was a video I made sometime when I said, it's like Tinubu and the Fulani Caliphate. It's like they had an agreement, like a pact, that look, since you so want this power desperately and you've claimed it's yours, rather than this blackmail, okay, we're going to give you this power, we'll rig it and give it to you. But you see, our Fulani agenda that we have started in motion, please don't go there. You can do your Yoruba agenda and whatever, but I say our agenda, don't touch it. Because how do you explain that insecurity can be this bad? Tinubu is not talking about it. No state of emergency declared in states where there are high-end observation of insecurity. No declaration of state of emergency. So how long will this continue? No, we still have 2 full years to go for this administration to end with no visible achievement, but yet we are talking about the permutations of who becomes the president of this country. Now, here is another scenario I also want to paint. Tinubu, the way I see this man, it is either he becomes president or the country collapses. He doesn't care. If you meet Tinubu now, let's say I'm a fairy godfather, I meet Tinubu. Dear Tinubu, can you sacrifice your presidency for the betterment of Nigeria? I am sure you and I know the answer that will come from Tinubu. No. That man is so obsessed with power. Obsessed. And even those chanting is Yoruba local, they are not even benefiting because they spoiled. I mean, the carnage, the wrath is everywhere, including those that are saying our local. So 2027 is by far the most complicated scenario ever. If anyone says he can wrap his head around 2027, you're lying. You're lying. Because we have the greedy, we have the ugly, we have the bad, and we have the innocent. In fact, it's a pity. It's a pity that in a world of AI, we have left the computer age, now we're talking about artificial intelligence, where it says to the fact that civilization has transformed man to the highest form of intelligence, to the extent we can build our own intelligence. While the world is advancing in artificial intelligence, we are here still talking about tribalism, still talking about religious intolerance. And the most painful thing about it is, as you see a young man, educated, still making arguments in the line drawn by tribalism, still making arguments in the line drawn by religious sentimentality. It's a pity that while we all cling on our biases, we fail to see that Nigeria is crumbling. So when 2027 comes, what will determine your decision? Is it that it has to be Tinubu because he's my tribesman, or because Tinubu is actually performing? Not performing in the lens of your biases. Or must it be not because the North, it must come to the North? Because some of you are judging Nigerians' power games since 1999. That's not true. Nigerian power games started since 1960. Or is it that we want who is truly good based on the options we have, Tinubu, Atiku, and Peter B? Now, because certain quarters have said that, look, an Igbo man will never be president, I don't see Peter B as an Igbo man. Of course, an Igbo man, but I don't see his yearning to be president based on the fact that it comes from a tribal rap, as some of you want to put it. But the choice still remains yours. What type of Nigeria do you want? A Nigeria that is identified by corruption and criminality, just as the rest of the world. Some of you that are supporting Tinubu, you travel out and you see how they look at Nigeria, but then you shy away that it didn't start today, it started from Buhari. Why can't Tinubu stop it? Of course, somebody who swims in criminality cannot assure, we always smell criminality. It's a pity. It's really a pity.
Coalition drama in the political space. But let us actually take a look of the people that are calling for coalition. Nasir El-Rufai, Atiku Abubakar, Sule Lamido, and Rotimi Amechi. Let us look at their antecedent, their past, and their leadership role in the past. Let's start with the Pharaoh of Kaduna, El-Rufai. In Abuja, El-Rufai demolished people's houses illegally, acquired people's houses illegally to become his personal property, and he shared some of the people's property with his cronies. As a result of his demolition, many Nigerians lost their lives because they could not recover from it. Nigerians has not forgiven him. Fast forward to his 8 years of reign of terror and terrorism in Kaduna. The killing of almost 3,000 southern Kaduna people. Orchestration of the killing of Shia Muslim over 1,000. The killing of first-class emir of Adara chiefdom. All of this thing happened during his regime. He is a religious bigot. He is a religious fanatic. And the people of Kaduna has not forgiven him. What is his political relevance? Zero. He cannot even move in Kaduna, Zaria, or Kafanchan today without security. He will be killed by mob as a result of his atrocities. And if to say that Southern Kaduna were actually serious human beings, El-Rufai is supposed to be in the International Criminal Court of Justice now, answering questions for his atrocities. But yet he has the audacity to be calling for coalition because they did not actually go after him. Then let us look at the loan that he took, that he plundered Kaduna State into about loan repayment of 30 years. And what did he do with the money? Nothing. Except Shodnika's road in Kaduna North alone. No impact in any part of Kaduna. Left Kaduna with so many unfinished projects. And yet he's calling for coalition. That is the country we have. Let's look at Atiku. What are the antecedents of Atiku since he was a vice president up to date? Not much has been done. He only galvanized all the northern jihadis and the northern governors and engineered them to unseated good law by creating new PDP. Since then, he has been a political prostitute. What is his relevance? Zero. Let's look at Rotimi Amechi. Rotimi Amechi stole so much money from Rivers people and used the money to sponsor Buhari, a Fulani jihadist, and actually unseated his brother Ijoman from Bayelsa. That is his antecedent. I don't know either he still have relevance in South because I don't know either South people has forgiven him. Then let's look at Sule Lamido. It's even worse. After plundering Jigawa for 8 years, he has become politically irrelevant. Even in the party that he was part of the major founders of the party, he's even irrelevant, even in his party. So these are the people that are making noise, that are calling for coalition. It is high time that as Nigerians, if we are going to be talking about elections and politics, I think it's high time we should start talking about INEC reforms. Let's reform INEC. And let us look at the process of election, free and fair election. Apart from Peter Obi, I don't see anybody in the political space that is better than Tinubu, apart from Peter Obi. But the question is, if today they go into election, do we have an INEC that can conduct a free and fair election, even if Peter Obi is in the ballot? That is the question we should be talking as Nigerians. And I pray that God will reawaken the sense of our sensibility as Nigeria. Let's begin to look at electoral reforms rather than getting distracted by this Fulani oligarchy every day disturbing people as if they are the only people in Nigeria.
Yeah, 2027 elections are coming, and I want every Nigerian to take this message very, very seriously. If you are asked in court today to prove beyond reasonable doubt that 2023 elections were being rigged, how will you prove it? The truth of the matter is that nobody can actually prove in court beyond reasonable doubt that the elections are being rigged in this country, even though we know very well that the elections are firstly being rigged in Nigeria. Look at what happened in 2023 when Peter Obi carried all those thousands of documents into the courtroom in trying to prove that the elections are being rigged. The truth of the matter is that if you are the judge in that courtroom, you think you have that time to go through all those thousands of papers in trying to confirm that the elections are being rigged? You cannot do that. You strike that case out and you don't have evidence. That's why we want to create a system that will make it very easy to prove that the elections are being rigged, if actually they do it, and to make sure the votes of the masses will count. I am MD Tech Crew team. I have decided to build an high-quality website for free. Our plan is to use this website to get election results directly from the polling unit. Since INEC don't want to do it, we will do it for them, we will help them, so that in case they tell us there is a glitch, we will have a backup that they can come and take from us. No problem, but we'll still follow them to do the coalition. Our plan is to use this website to get election results directly from the polling unit. We are planning to divide this website into 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, and each state subdivided into the ward level, the federal constituency, and the polling unit. And our plan 2027 is that we want to deploy 4 persons to every polling unit all over the country, so that our agent will video the counting of election results and snap the election result and upload both the video and the picture on our website in that polling section. We use this method to take election results all over the country, so that we can follow INEC to do the coalition, and we will know who win the election. And when they say we should prove it, we will prove it easily with our website. In the digital format, not the analog papers. In the digital format, I will prove it beyond reasonable doubt that if elections were being rigged, the elections are being rigged. Mahmoud spent 200 billion deceiving us that they want to transmit the election result from the polling unit by using beavers. After wasting 200 billion, this man came up to tell us with a foolish, reckless excuse that there was a glitch. That's why when people are talking about electoral reform, telling the same thieves, criminals, tyrants, wicked people to say they should reform the system to do something transparent, it gets me crazy. I see it as a waste of time. It is high time we change strategy. INEC is not reliable and cannot be reliable. The only way INEC can be reliable is if we can create a system to monitor INEC. If we can create a system to monitor INEC, that's the only way INEC can be reliable. And this our system is the only way we can use to monitor INEC, by following INEC to get the result and upload to our polling unit, following INEC to the coalition to make sure there is no error. And if there is error in the side, we will correct them with real data by the video of the count of the polling unit and the picture of the polling unit. We can able to clarify the elections that are being rigged. We need the support of every well-meaning Nigerian to work with us. INEC cannot be trusted. These people cannot be trusted. A man that wasted 200 billion and is working free is the same man you people are expecting to come and conduct credible election in the name of electoral reform. 2027 is coming. Please join us.
The citizens whose voice have been ignored for too long, this is yours. Inshallah. This mandate is not about titles or position. No, it is not about anything else but to reclaim our local government and to restore our dignity and rebuild our communities. It is about those who have been excluded from governance by a broken system. The market woman whose stalls was demolished. The young people who have been left unemployed. The child who was forced to stay home because public schools are closed, and the sick who die because health centers are non-functional. Let me be very clear, this is our time.
Yes.
And I will not be silent. For too long, the Abuja Area Council has been reduced to a shadow of itself, a shell of what it is meant to be. While the city surface shines, Amak grassroots have been starved of leadership, service and development. The councils have become invincible, and the people have been abandoned. But I say today that enough is enough. This is not the season for recycled failure. This is the era of new ideas, fresh leadership, of people-oriented governance. The days when few political elites dictate the future of millions are coming to an end. Democracy is not about coronation. It is not an inheritance of a selected few.
Yeah, that's how.
Democracy is a context. And in true democracy, the people will decide. I, Dr. Moses Paul, aka Dr. Mo, do not come with arrogance and entitlement. No, I come with humility of purpose.
Thank you, sir.
The strength of conviction is what drives me, and the readiness to serve. I stand before you to declare that Amak will rise again. Not through empty promises, but through practical, people, solution-centered ideology.
ADC!
5 key points of what I want to be held to as this video is being done today. When we get there, I want this to be published, like my leader will say. I've had the opportunity just in 2024 alone to be in 17 states of America with him. And I've been around the world, from Asia, everywhere around the country. A man who has stood his ground against all odds. I did not even spoke with him or sought his consent. I never called him. I did not even have his phone number. When he sent for me in December 2023, he said, I've been watching you through the campaigns and how you've held up yourself. And I ask everyone today here to dig into who I am. Wait, does the thing say this man does the thinking?
Don't mind them.
I know say your papa. But we go meet across the road. When we jam, you go know. I know say for your head, he does the thing say, see this tiny guy waiting like this. Pepe.
God is working on him. They should go and verify.
Say Pepe.
They should go and verify.
You know what impact is? Impact. When something, when Jella never jam you,
They don't know.
as ADC go jam this FCT, you know say we don't want to talk all these days, we just dey talk behind it.
Our battery don't charge.
We will restore our community. Where is called Phase 1 primary school. I was the head boy in primary school. I was the head boy in my secondary school. I went to private schools. When I travel around the world and people ask, from my first degree to my PhD was done in University of Abuja. So I haven't schooled anywhere else around the world. All my schooling was done in Abuja here. But when I speak in New York, they ask me whether I've been to Cambridge or Harvard or any of Oxford. No. It tells you that quality can come out of Abuja. There is dignity in this place.
Exactly, sir.
But I've watched through, and sitting here right now, our children are out of school for the last 3 months. 6 months. The reason is because there is total absence of local governance in the FCT and in Amak. The first thing we're going to do is to ensure that there is education for all. Education is priority, regardless of whatever you want to do. I've been an artist, I've been an author, I've been a lecturer, but all of the gravitas and everything that I've ever been, what gave me the basis is education. And to have left our children out of school, it means that some people want to create anarchy. They want to destroy our future. And we are here to ensure that Amak is comparable to Paris to DC, to London. Amak should be better than London because London was built over 500 years ago. New and emerging cities should be better than the old. But right here we are in Amak, our children are out of what? School. This is preposterous. It is unacceptable. It is a destruction of the future of the country. Yes. So, my manifesto, like I'm reading now, has to do with the fact that we will take care of education. We will ensure that our healthcare services are functional. If you know Abuja like I do, you understand. A few years ago, I took a lady here. I went round. The video is there. It went viral. She visited one of the hotels where I was running, and she got sick and paralyzed. We went round Abuja. No hospital will accept her. You know, during the COVID era, there were no beds everywhere. I don't have the time to read out statistics for you because this is just a summary. But to tell you that we will deal with education, we will ensure that Abuja residents have quality healthcare center. We will ensure that businesses are supported. And so we're coming, not people who are deprived. We have a lot of people. If you look at the housing pattern of Abuja. One person owns 10,000 housing units, and yet when you go to Nyanya, when you go to Gwagwa, when you go to places, they sandwich us in one place. A new Amak is coming. An Amak where once you are 18 or you are 21, you can have a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom self-contained to yourself. Now, this is not rhetoric, this is achievable. This is not about prayer. This is based on what we already have in this place. Many of you don't know, but as a geographer, I can tell you, Abuja, Amak is sitting on a gold belt. Nigeria has more gold than the Gold Coast in Ghana, but we're here suffering. Everything begins from Amak. The moment we can raise the banner in Amak, every local government in Nigeria would rise up. Governance is about locality. If you go to Europe and go to other places, to get what will make you become a citizen is not federal. It is a local people. And so we will get, it will be people oriented. Security is about my neighbor. Growing up as a child here, we looked at ourselves. What happened that now neighbors plan to kidnap other people? Security is broken, and that's because we don't have a governance structure that cares. There is no compassion, there is no capacity, there's no character. Obedience, are you here?
Yes, sir.
There is no what again?
For competence.
There's no competence. This is what the manifesto is going to be based on. Basics infrastructure. You can drive around the city center and be happy, but our local roads are completely dead because we do not have local government presence. Lastly, I want to say, how many of you have ever seen the local governor, the chairperson of Amak, on TV in places, talking to people and interacting with people? No. How many of you know them?
We don't know them.
This is why Amak is in darkness. That is about to stop. That is about to change.
Good.
What is ahead of us is great. But I dare say to you, our take on democracy is that we will have a governance that the people will choose. We heard that some people said that the result of Amak has been written. I speak to INEC and I speak to the international community that are watching. I speak to Nigerians that the time has come. Governance is not for the selected few. Governance is not for the privileged. True democracy is a place where the people choose who they want to govern them.
Exactly. Correct.
And we are not. We are sending a message to them by our manifesto that we are not afraid
At all.
We are not ashamed. We will mobilize. That's what I say, mobilize. We will organize. That's what I say, organize. We will vote. We will defend our vote. Protect our vote. Right from the polling booth to the coalition center. Yes. Because Abuja is our home. Yes. Abuja is a place where, regardless of where you come from, whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian, you are Igbo, you are Bagi, you are Gwari, this is our epicenter. We will create a place where when people see you, they will not judge you by your tribe or your religion.
Yes.
They will judge you by your capacity.
Yes.
We will form a model for Nigeria so that the children that will come, all the things that are destroying us will be alien to them. Ballot snatching will be alien to them. This is why I am running for the
In a shocking expose, what we are seeing for the coalition is Atiku is being pushed by the northern blocks to lead the coalition. Must the South continue to rule? I've always said something that for Obi to grab power, it needs to be assertive and it needs to be decisive. In his indecisiveness right now has put the obedient groups, the obedient camps, and of course one of the most influential obedient social media guy has come out to speak and challenge Obi. He said, Obi, you need to let us know where we stand. Are you part of the coalition? Are you leading the coalition? Are you deputizing Atiku? But because what we see all over the social media, all the traditional media, is that Atiku is the leader of the coalition. He might be the leader, he might not be the presidential candidate. But Obi, we need you to speak up. And immediately, the Atiku media wings, they release a poster, as you can have on my screen over there, that Atiku is going to be the flag bearer. Here is my news and, a wake-up call to Atiku. Atiku, Omalule. It's as simple as that. If Atiku cannot be a respectable elder statesman and a kingmaker at this point and this juncture, I will, on behalf of Peter Obi, say it that he will fail. Because Obi will not deputize Atiku. Obi is long past that. Obi has the political weight, right? But Obi must justify that political weight, by the way. But Obi has that political weight, he has that political capital, he has that political relevance, he has that political clout to oust Tinubu. What Atiku needs to do is he must depart from the shenanigans that we've always known the North for. Because the North have always been said that they are too greedy, too covetous for power. They do not want to leave power for a moment. They just want to be in the corridor of power. Not just to be in the corridor of power. They want to be the decision maker within the corridor of power. And not just that, they want to be the one that will the final say. So we in the South are telling Atiku, if you say that you will be leading the coalition and you want to be the presidential candidate, well, Omar Lule, you are going to fail. It's as simple as that. Because I am telling you that it is still the North or the South. And these are the conversations. These are the conversations Obi must begin to have. Now, when David Ondain challenged Peter Obi, I can see there has been so many pandemonium. So many obedients came out and started challenging Obi that, Oga, yes. You see, while I was saying this some weeks and months ago, that Obi needs to be decisive in his actions. He needs to stop being reactionary. Obi must come out and say that I am part of the coalition, but that coalition must speak equality because it is still the turn of the South. He doesn't even have to openly, say that I want to lead. But he wants to say that I want to be the part of the coalition, and that coalition must speak to the spirits, right, of the Nigerian dichotomy. Period. What is the spirit of dichotomy? The spirit of Nigerian dichotomy is that the North will have his own turn of 8 years. The South will have its own turn of 8 years. The same very thing Atiku did. He left PDP. Atiku was everywhere saying it, that I left PDP because Jonathan, yes, might be failing in terms of insecurity, but I left because it is still the turn of the North. Yes, and then he went to APC. He contested alongside Buhari. Buhari defeated him, and Buhari became the flag bearer of APC. Atiku left because he felt that the South were trying to usurp their turn. So Obi must stand for the South, stand for his people. Then he can stand for Nigeria. Nigeria is a state. She knows that she is internally divided into two: the larger North and the larger South. In the South, we might have our subgroups: the Southeast, the South, the Southwest. In the North, they have their own subgroup. They have the Northeast, the Northwest, and the North Central, of course, which is currently contestable, right? Obi must accept his fate as a Nigerian, and as a Nigerian that he is, he must talk to the sentiments. I mean, why should an Atiku media team be releasing such posters and flyers? It is an affront on us as a Southerner. It's an affront on us because they are trying to tell us that if in 2014, 2015, that they can demand for the northern turn, so we the Southerners cannot. No. We will demand for the southern turn. Obi must align and demand for the southern turn. He cannot be saying that no, I don't vote for me because I am a Southerner. But Obi must say that it is the turn of the South. And the South deserve to complete its 8 years. Tinubu has done 4 years. Tinubu will be kicked out. Inshallah. What Obi must be saying is, I am part of the coalition. The coalition must fulfill the spirit of the Nigerian dichotomy. And if I finally emerge as the president of the coalition, I will vow to go for just one term so that the North will get the power back. These are the conversations David Ondei is challenging Obi, and all of a sudden Obi said he's going to have an emergency online webinar with his supporters base, which are the obedience in their large millions. Obi must stop to be reactionary, because Tinubu, as a bad guy that he is always proactive. We know Tinubu is a very, 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 in fact, he's one of the most incompetent presidents we've ever had. He don't carry himself, go St. Lucia, go to flex, go to flange you. You understand? He's so relaxed, he's so unbothered, the oppositions are not troubling him, so he's more or less like an emperor nobody can question. And this is why I said, for Nigeria to move forward, we must have people who are courageous. Yes. If Obi becomes the president with this attitude he carries, I don't know if he'll be able to challenge the northern oligarchs. I don't know, but he must change. I have said in some videos that radicalism is what gets you solutions and results in Nigeria. I've said it in a video that I made earlier. It is radicalism, rascality, just your ability to be mad and question and fight that gets you result in Nigeria. Because Nigeria as it stands do not like gentle people. They take advantage of gentle people. You might be gentle, you want to go by the rules, you want to go by the court, you just want to be the good guy. The evil guy will come and buy over the judges. And then you know what happens next? You become the victim. Right? You become the aggressor eventually becomes the winner, the victor. Instead of you who is a victim to become the victor, you become the loser. So Atiku once again must understand that the South have been reawakened. Finally, we know our rights, and we will not support someone who will go and deputize him. No, if Obi go and deputize Atiku, I can guarantee that he will lose his political relevance. Obi will not dare it. It is better Obi loses now, and maybe in 2031, Obi will not say, "Okay, I will run as vice president to anybody," or he signs out. Either of it. But Obi, as at now, will be committing what we call political harakiri, political suicide. If he says, it doesn't matter, there's nothing like Southern Turn, let me deputize Atiku, let us just kick out. Oh God, there is something we call North and South, and it exists, and it is not ready to go. It won't go. For it to go, Nigeria will split. When Nigeria splits, when I have my Southwest region that we proudly call the Odua Republic, when my brothers in the South have their own region, that is what called the Biafrans, then within that our little fold of a country, we can say that, okay, there won't be anything called the Jebus, the Oyos, we are all Yoruba, so it doesn't matter, we do not want bang bang. We will not be talking about ideology. I am a capitalism, I am inclined to capitalism, right wing, I am inclined to socialism, left wing, I am liberalism, maybe just, you know what I mean? But for now, if you cannot be playing politics of Yankee, even in the US, in the UK, they are very tribal in their politics. I mean, there's a guy who wants to go for mayor of Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Florida of Chicago? That guy is a Muslim. He's not an American, right? By his family blood ties. He might be an American, maybe by birth, but by parenthood, he's not American. His parents are from, I think, is it India or one of these Asian countries that is Muslim, highly Muslim populated. The Americans, they are beginning to they are so tribalistic towards it. They're telling that, Islam, no, a Muslim man must not become this. Is that not bigotry? Because they want to preserve. They don't want to watch their people get eroded. They don't want to get their people heavily Islamized. That is for America. America that is like 600 years ahead of us in democracy. Those ones. They don't practice democracy in the what? Is in these early 18th centuries. 1760, when they collect their independence. They don't practice democracies in that time. So now because you want to play, I don't know what sentiment my guy is trying to please. Do you think if it was the turn of the North and Tinubu is the current president and Tinubu says he wants to go a third term, or Atiku, if it's the turn of this, he will say it is the turn of the North, that Tinubu. So what is the big deal? You see, I have come to that realization that why we in the South, we have always felt cheated. Why we've always felt we are behind the North in politics. It's simple, because we have had leaders who are trying to be politically correct when they shouldn't. We have had leaders who are selfish. Leaders who lack the courage. Yes. We have seen how the North will tell us that Tinubu's tax bill wants to destroy the North, he wants to destroy the religion. We know how they openly bargained. They went religious. They started saying that Tinubu wants to take away VAT because we are doing Sharia. So Tinubu wants us to lift our Sharia. We should start drinking alcohol so that we can have a share of the VAT. Those were the rhetorics they pushed until that tax bill was now what was looked in, was reviewed, evaluated, and eventually the derivation percentage that was supposed to be 60% was now taken to 30%. It was supposed to be increased by from 20 to 60. That's about 300%. It was just barely increased by 50%. That's 20% to 30%. What did they do? They were pushing the northern interest. We must begin to push the southern interest as a collective. If Obi cannot do it, then it will just be pushed aside because the North know what they do. These guys are just, by God, it is clear to me like night and day. You cannot be saying that I am a pan-Nigerian. Okay, now push, they go push you aside. Look what they do for Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nnamdi Azikiwe from a pan-Nigeria. What do they make him? They made him a ceremonial president. A ceremonial president. Tafawa Balewa, who was a premier, who was a prime minister, was calling the shots. Tafawa Balewa, who was a premier, was more or less like the chief of army staff, the grand commander of the armed forces. So he was just there like a laissez-faire leader who couldn't. He was just there, a Tom Dick leader. He couldn't make decisions. He couldn't take decisions. So, whatever direction we are going come 2027, it is clear that the North are not joking. They've taken the decision. We want to grab the power. We are in this coalition to grab power. I'm not there to grab power for Obi. They are there to grab power for Atiku. It is when Obi begins to say such words that I've said. If you get to that point, now go see what they are here now. See, they said by Wednesday they will announce what the coalition, who are the people that consist the coalitions, who are the coalitors. Yes, no, I want to see. But for now, we suppose one they know, say, they are going to coalition. Now Obi will lead that coalition. Because Obi says suppose one they ring the bell for their ears. Say, okay, I am going to be a part of the coalition. But the coalition to be just, it must speak to the spirit of the Nigerian dichotomy. Because you cannot deny it. There is what we call the southern interest, and there's what we call the northern interest. The southern interest, we want to be progressive, we want to be productive, we want to have our own share of our 8 years. The northern interest is they want to be theocratic, they want to be Sharia, they want to have whatever. They want to forgive their Fulani elders who are killing them, you know. They want to have this, it is their whole northern interest. Who cares? So since we have found ourselves in this country and we have not had leaders that will say, okay, let us collectively agree that this country cannot work the way we are. We cannot continue in this charade, this nonsense, this hypocrisy. Let us cut it into pieces. Let everybody go their way. For as long as we have not had such leaders, no leader can say he wants to get to that position of power if he will not ride on the sentiment of his regional people. It's not going to happen. Obasanjo rode on the sentiment. Have you guys forgotten? Obasanjo rode on the sentiment of the South because Abiola is a Southerner. People wanted, the Southerner was supposed to be the one that would have become the president. Abacha took the power. Okay, you know what? Let us cede it to the South. And they did. It was between Falaye and Obasanjo. Obasanjo became the president. 8 years. Immediately 8 years, Obasanjo wanted to try to break the status quo. What did he not do? The North was about to go into anarchy. In less than 3 months, Obasanjo said, I thought Nigeria wanted capacity and competence. Okay. You know what? Peter Dili, you go and relax. And they went to go and bring Umar Yar'Adua. Yar'Adua will be your president. And we saw the, say, Baba, rank a day, rank. And Umar Yar'Adua, because he became the president. Listen, Umar Yar'Adua, there was no primaries. Umar Yar'Adua wasn't involved in any PDP primaries. Peter Odili was already the presidential candidate. He was already sharing money now. The very famous hot air balloon that was spraying money. Have you first forgotten? In Lagos, I saw it with my 2 korokoro eyes. Not be said and say. He was already doing such because he already knew he has a match as a president candidate. Then all of a sudden we just had that sudden turnaround. What do you think happened? They told all the leader, Oga, we must respect the northern interest so that Nigeria no go split. So OP must understand that he has to stand up. Just as his guys have said, David Ondei, he must speak to that southern sentiment. Yes, it is. Because he is a behemoth. But it seems he doesn't understand his word and value yet. But I hope he does before it is too late. Because Atiku, as far as I'm concerned, is there to snatch and grab. And it's very unfortunate for me to see that Atiku becomes a leader. And Obi will say he wants to deputize. He's just as good as gone. I hope that doesn't happen. But one thing is true and guaranteed. That no matter how they try to outsmart or outplay the South in that coalition, the North will not get power by 2027. The South must complete, whether it is Tinubu, whether it is any other Southerner, the South will get that power. Otherwise, yes, I know, Nigeria will break up.
Tell ourselves the truth now, at least for once. See, I'm going to speak and a lot of people will think I'm speaking like a Biafran. I want us to reason like analytical human beings. The fact is the division of Nigeria with all the indications on ground so far is inevitable. the division of Nigeria is inevitable without implementing the regional system of government. Okay, let's look at the indicators. Number one, the fact is, the issue of national insecurity at the moment happens to be majorly a northern problem, right? You quite agree with me on that. And in that regards now, any government of the day, any president at the moment that is not of the northern descent or northern origin that tries to fix that, if he's hoping to come for a second tenure, I bet you he can't succeed in that. You quite agree with me, right? And this is what I mean by that. Okay. In addressing, considering bringing into view now what happened recently in Benue, just the normal issue of farmers herders clashes as they call it, right? Okay. In fixing this kind of situations, now forget about the deployment of military, police, whatever the president coming to visit. You quite agree with me that that doesn't solve anything and it's not going to solve anything. The only thing that will solve that to some certain extent is we having a situation where there is ranches established for herders, right? That is to say, the herders must be in tune with changing times. Because you quite agree with me, there is no developed country you go to in this world today that you'll find a situation where animals wander all around. There is none. You can never find any developed country of that nature. But in so doing now, if the president of the day tries to enforce that, it's going to be rejected by the northerners to some certain extent, evidently clear even in the past, right? Considering the fact that these people are citizens or whatever, they are nomadic in nature, right? That has always been the conversation. They are nomadic in nature, so they move from places to places. And the fact is, I don't know where we're actually getting this. Okay, if you say you are nomadic in nature, how do you expect the government to account for you? Have you ever seen a country where you have citizens being nomadic in nature and the government can account for them and make budget for? So you see, the fact is, the herders must be in tune with changing times, but they are not ready for that. And even the politicians are not ready to have that conversation. Let's look at the issue of dialogue. We need to preach dialogue. We need to be accommodating. There's enough to share, according to Tinubu. But looking at it, you quite agree with me that as far as this life, this nature is concerned now, people have metamorphosized over time, which is the fact that people no more just live because they want to embrace each other in love and peace and harmony. There are two things that guide and regulate the conduct of humanity. One, adequate enforcement of the law. Even in developed countries. That is to say, you know that when you do this, this will happen. You must reap for it. You will go in for it. That makes people behave to some certain extent. Another thing that guides people's conduct is the fact that they must be subordinate and superior. Right? That is to say, in anywhere I live for there to be peace, is either they must be, you are the senior, I am the junior. So you know that when you try me, I will finish you, and me that knows that you are more powerful than me, I will not try you. Those are the things that keeps people in check. But if you think that we're going to sit down and be, in as much as we desire one Nigeria, we want to preach and we want to be all accommodating, we believe we're stronger together, but it's not the preaching of peace and love or whatever that keeps people together. These two indications are what keeps people together. And you quite agree with me to some certain extent, the two is missing. There is no adequate enforcement of laws. We are under-policed. Even the armed forces is overwhelmed, and a lot of other things. So what will keep people in check? So what we are fighting for at the moment is a situation where who is more powerful? Is it me, the Fulani man? Is it me, the Yoruba man? Is it me, the Igbo man? Or is it me, the Hausa man? The fact is, that must be sorted out. When it's sorted out, now everybody will know his position and people now will just decide to keep quiet and whatever. Looking at it, when you now introduce our religious extremism in all aspects as well, that is evident in the country. You have a lot of radical Muslims, radical Christians. We're not ready to tolerate each other. The only thing that will make us tolerate each other, let's tell ourselves the truth, is the full implementation of the law and the adequate protection of the vulnerable. That is just it. And all these things are missing. So, how do you tell me we are not going to divide? And the fact is, looking at it now, Tinubu will not dare go that way. Right? Because by the time he tries to introduce that, okay, there must be establishment of ranches to curtail the free movement of the Fulanis, you quite agree with me that he is going to lose a lot of... the fact is, he's already losing at the same time as far as the North is concerned at the moment. And that is what will even bring the division closer in that regards. In the sense that Tinubu doesn't look like somebody that is ready to let go of the fact that this 8 years is his birthright. And at the same time, the Northerners are not ready to give it to him. So when you have a clash of the titans, Abi, that is what I refer to this 2027. Forget about this defection. Clash of the titans is going to definitely give birth to something. So, with all these indications on ground, my brother, the issue of one Nigeria, we are going to get better, will remain nothing but a delusion.
Hi guys, thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. Please kindly drop your comment below the comment section, share this video, make it go viral so that Nigerians will understand what is happening in the Nigerian political landscape. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye for now.